Again, search on Scott Henderson, streaming service of your choice. Scott Henderson. The record's called Tore Down House. The title track features an awesome woman they got to get to town named Thelma Houston. If you can listen to that track and not cry, your soul has already departed. Scott Henderson. But turn my producer friend DeLon Smith, Willie Nelson, Ray Charles. DeLon's the stuff, man. Tom Scott is going to get me the Tom Scott that Benny recorded with when he was a kid. Yeah, Scott Henderson's the stuff. I love rock and blues. Jimmy and Stevie Ray, of course. Who don't love that? But Scott Henderson, when you hear that track, I'll post up some stuff on social media when I burn this to online. Scott Henderson is the best of what LA used to call rock-a-bopper. He can do what Hendrix does with that same grit. I'm going to teach you guys how to both play and produce records, me and DeLon. We're calling the new school Inca Roads as a tribute to late great Frank Zappa and Gail. Inca Roads is now a free university, free, like free beer, free university of music, like School of Rock in town in its production. Look for us to reach out and do some cross promotions for the kids. Teach your kids to play, man. Instruments the thing. If it hadn't been for drums at 14, I may have gotten in a lot of trouble. Like all my poor, suffering African American brothers in the inner city that don't know their dad, and the government steps in to say, it's okay, the government can be your daddy. That's worked out well. Go look right now. I want to just collect a tally and DM me on Twitter. How many beautiful, potentially awesome African American brothers and sisters and children are slaughtered in Democrat-run cities typically? A lot of them. It doesn't matter, Again, let's come together as divine individuals, like Jordan Peterson says. Western civilization, the instantiation of the divine individual, my boy Dr. Jordan Peterson calls it. Western Civ is the thing. Okay, anyway, so anybody down here, so I got to get back. Daniel and I just got back to town from LA. He's helped me on my record, and he's a really good singer. We're kind of slowly developing when we have time. It's kind of his own kind of blues gospel thing. He's got some great stories, how spirituality's touched his life. He's got an amazing story he'll tell on the show in the next several weeks on Kiki and TomAustinLive.com. Let's give it 6 to 8 weeks. He was waiting tables in town, and he didn't have rent, and he prayed. I wasn't there, but he prayed. Within 2 hours, rain started to fall, and people came in just to wait till the rain, and they were only drinking during happy hour. He banked. He banked enough. He didn't get rich, but he banked enough to make his rent and have enough to live on food stamps till his next payday. Is that something? To me it is. You decide. Tom Friedley, RadioZeitgeist.com. The national security state's still blocking my card. Not the deep state. The deep state's how they turn you into non-player character. No, when I hear deep state, I just go back to sleep. I do not think. Anybody who does not agree with what I'm programmed to think by Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon or those freaking talentless idiots that pumped up that, would-be Arnold Schwarzenegger passing for a journalist and his brother, the governor of New York. I shouldn't do this, but I will. Hey, Cuomo, you're bigger than me, right? It don't matter, all right? Look up Bruce Lee. Look up Paul Vunak, Jeet Kune Do. Look up terms like Hubud and Sombrada. It don't matter the mass. The mass, the mass don't matter. Wing Chun was designed by a woman, for women, men of small stature, or anyone that doesn't want to spend as much time as, say, my future friend Joe Rogan did on it confuses people. What confuses people, my brother and sister, we've kissed and made up from my perceived slights. I was totally wrong. They still love me. But they studied the Gracie Brothers stuff, jiu-jitsu. That's a sport. That's a sport. MMA is a sport. You know? Okay, you and I, 5 minutes and 12 seconds. One last thing here. You and I, our daddy leaves us enough money to start a new promotion for martial arts. The first time somebody's larynx gets crushed and they're dead, that pretty much pisses away our business model. Don't you think? No said. All right. Wing Chun, you occupy the center line. Now you got to practice a lot. But it don't matter who it is. My future friend Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, idiot. Oh, by the way, Alex, I know I'm all over the place here. I'm hypoglycemic. Alex, if you want to come do a set, you wait until I invite you. You wait until I invite you. Cenk Uygur lets you come on. You come on my set that way. First Wing Chun lesson free. You become my Wing Chun dummy. Occupy the center line. If you're lucky, I've eaten and I'm patient because it could go really bad for one of us. And it ain't me that it's going to go bad for. All right, let's turn this way. All right, Tom Friedley, full of himself, going to get some dinner. Daniel is going to help me do some laundry. Oh, good news, y'all. I got an application for SBA COVID relief for a small business. 10 grand will go a long way right now to keep me out of the plasma joint and Daniel from being a genius artist who's having to suffer. Well, not suffer, just, you get the point. There's nothing wrong with a day job, right? It teaches you. I was so mad for years that whatever God or Dharma, whatever, that I was being forced to work a telemarketing job, but it taught me how to flow. It took me for years to figure out that whatever put me here, whatever you want to call it, it was dropping me hints years before I got the message. About every fifth call for selling siding or books by mail or something, AOL thing back in the day, it would be, are you on radio? I mean, not every time, but typically a 4-hour shift, maybe 6 to 8 people would go, why aren't you on the radio? Don't be a hardhead like me, all right? Whatever you call what put you here, God, Buddha, Allah, Buddha Dharma, the great spirit of Iroquois or Inuit, it doesn't matter. Orient yourself to that transcendent ideal. Your life will become magic. Not easy, but magic. All right, anyway, if you see all over the chalk all over me, that's me. Kiki and Tom, Austin Live coming. I got a Radio Zeitgeist workaround through we got a hookup, it's a long story. Kiki got that done. She issued an order to me. We had a fight about me setting up the table. She wanted me to do something the next morning. Well, when I got over myself and listened to Mom, I ended up getting us within 2 hours a trial for Shopify. I got her started on her culinary business. Kiki is an awesome vegan chef extraordinaire. She'll tell you the name of the school. Our joke is that if it were a musician, she were a musician like me, it'd be like going to Juilliard in Berkeley, right? Jazz school. All right, so if you see all this scrawled around about Howard and Robin and that racist stuff from 20 years ago, that's me doing it. Keeping myself busy. Keep myself out of trouble. All right, Jazz Illuminati record coming, shaping up well. The best tunes I got right now are my buddy Joe Locke, I jammed with at PASIC. And I got to kick it with my hero Steve Gadd again. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, the drum solo on Asia. Oh, I know, hey, somebody tell Rick Beato and his drummer, the solo, I met a guy at Epochs where I met Kiki that day. He hadn't got back yet about us writing tunes together. He's got this good kind of country blues thing going on. Teaching me piano because, you know, I'm a badass drummer. But anyway, even he knew. The reason that the Steve Gadd solo in Asia is, even Rick is teaching that solo as, I'll slow it down. There's this thing where the sound goes boom, click, boom. That was a first take. He accidentally hit the rim. Rick, don't have your badass drummer friend who I'd love to kick it with when I get there to sign with Cumulus. Don't play it. You don't play the mistakes. Steve Gadd was a yo-cat. One take, he nailed it. But he hit a rim. So what? What's wrong with you guitar players? Hey Rick, you know this one? I love you, man. Can't wait to see you. You're on the way to Austin. Let's kick it one day, man. I want to reach out to some other guys. Adam Neely, please hook us up, man. I want you guys, I'm going to have money enough to do a big band that does the Zappa stuff, recreate the GRP big band stuff with my boy Dave Weckel, and the late tribute to the late great Michael Brecker that my boy Benny tried so hard to help raise money for on his site in his battle with leukemia. All right, enough. Be quiet, Tom. Any chalk you see dogging on Howard Stern, I've done that. I ride the bus still. And I'd like to apologize not in advance to all my Green Party friends. When I close this deal, I haven't had a car for 20 years. You know what I deserve? A $300,000 Austin Martin Superleggera. I'll buy a house in Kyle and drive up here. It's a 5.7 liter, 12 cylinder. My carbon footprint has been small for a long time. I deserve it. Why? Because I said so, bitch.